All right, friends, what did I accomplish today? Well, I left this morning at about 9:30 and it's 6:14, I think, right now. And I just got back a little while ago for what turned out to be an all-day affair. Started out as a simple, 2-hour trip, and then we ended up making it into more. And I'll tell you about that right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man. Super Cheap Super Duty and I took the longest trip it's been out on today, and went with my neighbor, took him along, and we went and got a couple, we went to look at parts. I got a couple friends that live up north of here, and so we went to see both of them. And I'll show you some of the bounty I got, I guess. This was I went for a specific reason. I took a couple panels to my pal Jim and then brought back another piece that we've been needing, and I'll show you that last because that's the most spectacular one. But he gave me this. This was laying there. This is a side hood piece off of a 1465, I believe. It looks a little long. Oh yeah, there you go, 1465. So I will never turn down free parts, no. And then I got the other thing that I went for, which we'll show you in a minute. But then we went to eat lunch. It was about lunchtime after we were done there. And I said, hey, let's call this other guy I know and let's go over and see if he'll show us his stuff. So we did that. We went over there and looked at tractors for a while. And in one of the barns, on a wagon, he had a whole pile of school bus seats. And I said, you got school bus seats, huh? And he said, yeah, why, you need one? And I said, absolutely. So we picked out one and I took it along. And you're going to say, school bus seat, why? Well, guess what needs a seat and doesn't have one? And I got to thinking the other night, a school bus seat would be just about the right way. And I thought about taking one out of there, but I figured somebody would probably notice when there was just a frame left. So I was really thrilled to find such a pile of stuff, and he said I could just have one. So that's even better, because that's the magical price that I am tuned in on. So I'm thinking that whenever we get this carburetor back together, we'll be able to saw those two legs off, and we'll be able to just mount this whole frame and all to this little hood deal, and we'll have us a high-rise back seat, on this fancy rig right here. So I'm all about that. That was pretty sweet. But let's go look at the thing that I went for, and it just amazes me that I was able to find one of these. So we'll go take a look at that. Also, for the videos, just so I answer this, somebody or several people actually been asking, how come you haven't got those new tires? How come you haven't got those new tires? Well, they're ordered. I called them back again, and they said they've ordered them and they haven't showed up yet. So I can't do much if they don't show up at the place. So whenever they get here, you'll be the first to know, because I will mount them up. I'll probably go ahead and mount that one right away, and then I'll take the planetary off and fix it, because I think it would be better to just get one tire on the rim, and then I can free up my jack if I have to, or reblock or whatever, because right now my nice air hydraulic jack is stuck underneath there. So, but yes, they have been ordered and they're supposedly on the way, and to the tune of about just shy of $5,000 for 2 tires. So I guess not as bad as I was thinking, but still pretty bad. As we go along life's way here, I took away that load of scrap the other day I showed in the video, and I got $98. Then I pulled into the old farm store and I bought this pile of gates and that pile of stuff right there, and I spent $900. So I'm a little bit in the hole on, obviously I knew the scrap wasn't going to pay for the new stuff, but with the one cow I sold the other day and the scrap, we pretty well traded cow and scrap for new fencing and gates. And I got some T-posts over there, which yeah, they were part of that $900. But we're going to change this all, because it's been nagging at me for years and I never got it done yet. But all that's going to be new all the way down. Probably about on the other side of that bigger tree there, I'm going to put in 2 gates, so I'll have a 24-foot opening into there, with the idea that if I have to, I can take the Mighty Whitey and the big disc through this way instead of going. The only other access to that is all the way around the edge through the woods. I've got a path cut, and that's how you get down there all the time. But I just think it would be handy to have more than one access point. You know what I'm saying? I can get the big tractor through. I could take anything through there now, but you know what I'm saying. Plus his gate opening worked out to be like the lowest point, and that doesn't really work because they've made it a mud hole. So we're gonna move it up onto a little bit higher area and try to get that filled in, and then keep up on it so that doesn't happen again. But we'll have gates here and gates down there, and I can recycle some of those panels are good, and I'll save those and use them as we go. But we're gonna redo all this pin so that we actually have us something, and that's something I meant to do for the last few years and just never got it done. So the time is now. Still looking for lugs, if anybody knows where they are. Calf count, everybody wanted to know. I don't know if they're not all upright close here, but I see 2, 3 of them right there. So we're up to like 7. There goes one right now. And then an 8th one that was born a couple months ago in the winter time. But they're up and at it. They are probably some of the best looking ones I've had. I mean, yeah, that lady kind of ticked me off when she tried to claim they were underfed, but they don't come out full size, people. But they're growing very nicely. The one from a couple months ago, you would think he was a lot older than that. He's really coming into it. So the one on red there is the oldest one of the ones that were born the other day, and he's coming right along. So yeah, the one from a few months ago is back over there, and he's pretty good size. So that's partially what my fence plan is too, to get it where I can isolate them, but they'll be fine. I see a couple more of our friends right here, but they'll probably go berserk when I get close. Oh, there's 3 of them. That one's the newest one. He was just born a day ago or so. So they're all different sizes. But we need to come back here to old Frederico, because guess what he's gonna get? Look at this beautiful thing. The last piece of the puzzle. And I will have a complete grill on little Freddy here. You know, it ain't perfect. The metal housing part, I wish I could find a better, you know, surround, but I don't think I'm gonna. I think this is about as good as she gets. But I am thrilled to have 2 perfect inserts. I mean, these are, both of them, excellent. They're very heavy. That also explains why there's probably not a lot of them left. They probably vibrated out or pulled the rest of the grill down and destroyed it. And so that's what we're going to be working on at some point. It's going to be a trick, because I do not have all of the stuff that it takes as far as the metal piece. The metal piece is very, very, very rough. So you see, it was supposed to be where you bolted all of this on like that, and then this somehow either fit in or bolted in, and then on the bottom, I think you just stuck it in, and then the top ones you bolted like with wing nuts or something. But we're gonna have to make it where everything's bolted solid when it's done, so it doesn't fall off. And so as you can see, well, that tab is there, it's just folded over too far, so I could fold it back up. This one's half melted. This one's gone, that one's gone. So that's all gonna have to be made and probably reinforced where there's actually, you know, a significant amount of stuff across there. and I think that won't be too much trouble. I've got it clipped with these vice grips where I think it needs to be in relation to the rest of the body, as good as it can be. It's not good at all by any means, but you aren't going to find another one, at least I haven't. And then the bottom one, I don't remember quite how I did that. Oh, the bottom one is held in with those clips that have a bolt in the back side of this, and then it clips like the later style grills did in them. So that holds this insert to the metal. But then what I'm missing is somebody sawed off the bottom of this, and it's supposed to come down here like this, and then it had 2 bolt holes in it, and it had 2 bolts that held the bottom. So I'm gonna have to recreate that in some way where you can still draw it up tight and it looks halfway decent, and that's gonna be a real trick, where it really needs to be on the tractor like this, that I can weld some metal on and then kind of shape it, put it back on the tractor. It's going to take a lot of times on and off the tractor. Just nose Freddy up to the welder and just all day working on it back and forth and adding metal until we just can't stand it anymore. But that's what's going to happen, and because I want this to be on here totally solid before I ever think about putting this in for keeps, because man, if you destroy this, where are you going to get another one, you know? It's also interesting that the 2 flavors of paint have aged so differently, as I believe this is original paint, but the bottom one definitely is original paint. And they're a little bit, I think the shade is different in person. Maybe on the camera it's not, as I'm looking through the camera, it doesn't look as different. But I'm just tickled to death about that. I mean, this didn't do any good for the guy who had it, and it didn't, you know, I'm thrilled that I was able to use this, because this is excellent. I mean, I scoured the earth for these and finally found one not too far away, so. And the thing is, I bet you somewhere out there, all this stuff is hanging on some guy's barn wall that he took off and got tired of taking it off to do the batteries, and there's probably an excellent one out there somewhere, but where would you ever find it? But at any rate, that's one step closer to getting old Freddy 100%. Basically, once we do that, I think I've got about everything. We need to work on the fenders. They're really bad. That's another thing. Oh, I'm missing this rod that does the parking brake, so I'm gonna have to just fabricate one. It's not a big deal, but I wish I could have found an original. But there was a guy parking on a tractor, like I said, and he had all the stuff I needed on it, but he just will not message me back. And that is so frustrating, because I would definitely buy that stuff, you know? And it even says on there, will not sell tractor whole. So I don't know why he won't sell me parts, unless he's seen the videos and hates my guts. That's very possible. But once we get that all done, fenders, and clean up the rest of this and paint these pieces, take, you know, the arms and get them cleaned up and painted and all that, I think we're gonna have us something. We have still, I did think of another thing, and that's something that was on the other tractor. I need to make the new hydraulic lever, you know, so you can run your remote, because right now they got a piece of pipe clamped on it, and that ain't how she's supposed to be. She's supposed to have it like the 1365 and then a little linkage to connect to that. However, the one on the 1365 comes out on the opposite side. So what I've done is taken that apart, and I think it's up there in another place right now, but I took it apart and I can turn it around and stick the lever or the handle through from the other side, but I got to make one new mounting tab to line up with the bolts on the cover. The cover bolts are off from where they are on the 13. So I'll have to figure that out. And then, like I said, make this brake rod and power takeoff shield. But I have a solution for that, which is over here. I think I talked about this before. Freddy was sitting back here farther, and now I moved him for the winter. But I got this power takeoff shield, which comes off of a 55 series tractor. And the original Freddy power takeoff shield had instead of a flat plate back here, it had like a round band clamp that was welded to the shield, and then it clamped around this round piece. So that ain't no trouble. I can make this hole bigger and then weld the clamp to it and then clamp this on, and I think I can get the same effect that they were going for with a factory piece off of another kind of tractor. So that's going to be my plan of attack on that. But again, everything that needs done to Freddy here is a day of welding projects, so that's what's going to have to be. We'll just lay that there. I need to get that other thing and lay it up here so everything is with Freddy, so I don't lose it, because I don't want to be hunting stuff up all the time. Once we get those things done to it, I think it's about as good as it can be. Tail light, of course, I'll put that on and probably put a set of flashers on Freddy so that if I'm going down the road, somebody has something pretty to look at while they're running me down. You know, as in over with their big, you know, Suburbans or whatever that the basic white girls drive. So that's what we're gonna do there. And then, yeah, I think everything that Freddy needs is metal work. I want to make a step, like the factory step. That's just a piece of like 1/4 inch steel been in there. And then I think the one on this side came out at an angle, if I remember right. There's one on the other side, but they are bent differently. Maybe that one's the one at the angle. And this one was just straight out or something. I got pictures of the original on that other tractor I looked at that was just like this. So I know what's what there. And then the only thing left that we haven't done anything with and probably never will is this deal, which I have no idea how or what goes on with that. If it's still got the guts in it or what. Stuff does not move, but something's messed up on my plate. It's almost like, I'm pretty sure that when you did this, somehow that bottom arm is supposed to move, that this is pivoting on. So what I'm saying is, after I got it rigged up now where it won't do what it's supposed to, what I'm saying is, this isn't supposed to pivot on there like that somehow. It's supposed to actually move this back arm to do whatever amplitorquing it is doing, and it does not do that thing. So that will be a future investigation. I'm yawning. I'm tired from being out all day. But anyway, as I was saying, little Freddy here has come a super long way. I mean, he was not a very good shaped little tractor, and at least as far as being ready to hop on and use every day, I mean, it did run and drive, but it had a lot of issues. And I think I pretty well got that straightened out. And I don't think I spent a ton of money on it either, you know. The most expensive thing I bought for it, I think so far, was it's a tie probably between that new hydraulic pump for the steering and that pre-cleaner I put on there. I had to buy that on an auction, so I had to pay whatever it was, but that's a hard size to find. But it makes him look just like he's supposed to, see? You know? That tube was, I don't know if that was $100 for that exhaust, but that wasn't really anything speakable. And I'm happy, and so was the other guy that got the 1365. He sent me some more pictures. I'll try to throw those in. He's going through everything. I think he's practically doing a nut and bolt restoration, taking off pieces and going through them again and putting in new seals and gaskets and everything. So whenever it gets done and out of his garage, I'd say he'll have an almost perfect tractor, you know, I mean, usable, ready to go. So yeah, I guess if anybody knows anybody who's got one of these for parts and is willing to help get them to me, I would of course pay. But I would like to find that brake rod, because it has a thing on the end of it that I think I know how I can make it without it, but it would be easier to buy one that's ready that way. So any of that stuff I just talked about, the brake rod, power takeoff shield, if you can find an original, that would be something that excites me. And I'd like a step for this side, for the left-hand side. The I need a couple of the wheel lugs for the front wheels. Each front wheel's missing one. And I think on this, they're actually the same front and back. But at any rate, I could use a couple. So, yeah, Freddie's missing one on each front wheel. So if we could get that stuff done, I think we'd be in pretty darn good shape. As I said, our biggest struggle now is probably going to be those fenders. That's going to take the most time to get them somewhat tamed back into the correct shape and weld up some of the too many extra holes and what have you. But yeah, I'm happy. I wouldn't take $5 for Freddie right now. It'd take a lot more than that. Okay, so to wrap up this video, I might as well have some sadness. I thought I'd, try to get this going again, because last time we tried to start it, it was up to its old tricks. And when it does that, it's because the points get corroded up, as we can see, and then she don't run. However, life decided to make a decision for me. I was on the fence about just buying a new cap to replace this. Maybe it's letting moisture in somewhere and whatever. And then it decided to, I destroyed it. I was taking that screw loose and somehow my screwdriver got wedged and I totally broke it. So, that's it. I also see that that little hole is full of mud, and I wonder if that's my issue all along. That's like a little vent hole, maybe to let the moisture out. And it's plugged up. So maybe this is a blessing in disguise, as now maybe this will work for good. I'm going to go ahead and file it up and see if today it will pop. But usually when you break your distributor cap, that's all she wrote. So I don't know about that, but yeah, maybe this was the thing that it took to make this happen. But I'm going to sand these up, and if I get it running, I'll let you see. But I'm going to sand the points, put them back, and then put the cap back on the thing, and we'll see what happens. I should have still in the pocket of my coat the roll of emery cloth from viewer who sent that in. So that's handy. It's made it as far as my coat pocket, so I'm using it every single time, and that's good. Oh, brother. I also found that really the only way to clean these effectively is to take this top one off, where you can get in there and really just give her the stuff, Why our modern points don't want to play ball, I don't know. But they definitely corrode up, I know that. The sad deal about this, though, is that all this stuff is brand new. It hasn't got 5 hours on it. And like now, I'm going to have to be putting a new distributor cap on it. Or new, whatever you call it. Magneto cap in this case. Oh yeah, she's going to pop now. I can tell you that for a fact. Let's put these points back on. And there's a little teeny clip that I'll probably drop. Because why not? Come on. Doing so good. Until I wasn't. Put that through there. Yes, this is a chainsaw tool. It's what was in the toolbox of the 550. This is kind of an afterthought project, and I didn't really want to run and go get stuff, so might as well clean up every surface in there. whilst we're at this point. Alright. Whilst we're this far, we just as well find a piece of wire or something and unplug that vent on this cap just for fun, because maybe that'll help our problem, you know. Problem is, do we have anything close by that will do this thing? Probably not, without we have to crawl out, and that's kind of a tall order because of where I'm at. It's pretty unhandy for vehicular travel. That's a soft piece of wire. That's probably not going to do it, is it? Maybe. Maybe. You wouldn't think something could build a nest in that tiniest of hole, but I mean, it makes sense that this would affect it, as if that was supposed to let moisture out as it sweat in here. And I actually don't think that the chunk that just broke out is really going to affect this, because it's not even into the part where anything is. But I'm gonna buy a new one now, and maybe that will solve all my life's troubles. Maybe it's got a hairline crack in it somewhere that I can't see, which causes strange things to happen. I'll put that other screw in just for fun's sake. We'll do that last. Is it worth trying to wedge this up under there? Probably not. Don't even know that it could be done. Where did it go? Maybe. It's a pretend kit. Okay, friend. It's been so long, like a month or two since we've run you. Wish you don't fire a lick. I think we made her worse. Yeah, that was a terrible mistake we made, I guess. Because she is not gonna fire. That's really depressing, friends. Okay, so that only took me like an hour, but there you go. Now you understand why this thing has always kind of been aggravating to me, because it always wants attention. But listen to how good it runs now. Crazy. Oh my goodness. that that's much of a video for today, but you got to see some ideas for future content, and that's nice. So, and we got to see this run again, which we couldn't accomplish the other day. I'm gonna go ahead and order a new cap. Hopefully that solves all my life's issues, but who knows? But if it would run like this all the time, we'd really have something. We also need to get that one started because we didn't accomplish that last time we tried. The battery's dead, so probably should charge that up, get that going. Otherwise, I think everything else in here we've had running, so in the last month or so. But it's getting warm enough outside where we can finally take stuff out and play with it, so hopefully that's all going to be happening in the upcoming times, and you know, we'll get to be doing something with them again, not just sitting here looking at them. So that's the plan. I really hate to shut this off now because it may not start the next time. The other thing we're going to have to do is probably readjust the carburetor when it's warm and we got it up to temperature and we're using it, because it's adjusted like we had it for winter time, and I'm sure that's not going to fly. So that's on our agenda, and I guess we'll call this video here. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or, if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.